Hello, in this video I'm going to be talking about dating after cancer. Dating is hard. Dating after cancer is really hard. From fears of rejection to worrying about your scars, your appearance, to wondering how and when to tell people, if at all, there are a lot of decisions that need to be made. It's very clear that there are common concerns surrounding dating during and after breast cancer, and I thought I would share some of those so perhaps you don't feel less alone. The first thing is, what do I tell people? When do I tell them? These concerns about disclosure. Your cancer diagnosis is a part of your story, and it's a personal part of your story. It's not just something that happened one day. It's more profound impact on your life. It affects how your body looks. So the other thing that people worry about is, are they physically attractive with all the changes that have taken place with their cancer treatment, whether it's the type of surgery they had, whether it's how their body was affected by radiation therapy, the way their hair is growing back in. People have concerns about physical intimacy with vaginal dryness and just not being able to relax into their own bodies. There are so many things that come up. People worry about scaring away potential partners. Sometimes people have told me that the person they're dating lost their partner to cancer many years ago and they don't want to lose another person. Now that can strengthen a bond, but it can also make you feel particularly vulnerable when you get back out into dating. A lot of people wonder, do I deserve to date again? Should I just be happy I'm alive? And the short answer to that is, of course you do. Oncovision is when all we can see is cancer. Be happy you're alive, don't worry about these other things. And connection with another person, being close to another person, is a human instinct. It's no wonder that it's important to you to think about, how am I going to resume having connections in my life? Perhaps your partner and you split up when you were diagnosed with cancer or shortly after that. And now you're wondering, will I ever have somebody love me again? And I want to assure you, you will. I want to assure you that there are people out there who will love you. And some people feel like this will help them, right? Dating will actually help them remember who they are and forget the cancer and put that behind. They might need to have a conversation, but just getting back out in the world is the right thing for them. And other people feel like they really need to heal thoroughly and take the time before they get out into the dating world. So let's turn to the topic of when you disclose this. You know, people are really different about this. Some people feel like, love me, love my body, love my diagnosis, love my story. And other people want to make sure there's space and trust and some closeness before they talk about something so personal. And you may be somewhere in between. And you're going to have a lot of people give you advice. They're going to say, if he doesn't accept you, you don't want him anyway. Well, if you really connected with somebody, it's not so easy, is it? So what you might want to do is play out different scenarios and talk with a good friend or a therapist or a coach about how this might look. So if you tell the person early on, what are you hoping they will say? What will you accept as an acceptable answer? Would you be okay finding out really early on that they are too scared about losing you to date you? You may also want to play out, what if I wait? What would the impact of that be on the relationship and on trust? So trust goes both ways, right? People want to be trusted, and people also want to know that they can trust. So it's really important to think about the implications for you and which type of scenario would be better for you. You may also want to test the waters by talking about cancer and seeing how somebody responds. If they respond in an understanding way, let's say you're talking about another person or somebody in the news who was diagnosed with cancer, you can see how they react, and you may find out something about them. You may find out that they had cancer. You may find out that a dear, beloved person in their life died of cancer, and this may be a helpful way to approach it without making yourself vulnerable. And then at a subsequent time or later on in the same conversation, you may say, I have something I'd like to tell you about myself. and see how things go. So there's a lot of different ways. I would recommend that you think it through rather than just blurting something out, because once we say something, we can't take it back. And finding a way to help yourself feel safe when you disclose something like this is really important to avoid feelings of rejection and further traumatize you after what's been a really difficult time. Diagnosed with breast cancer? Meet Yerbba, your guide to personalized treatment options. Each option is specifically tailored to the unique characteristics of your tumor. Sign up today at yerbba.com to take control of your breast cancer journey. There are a few other things that come up. One, of course, is fears of fertility. So let's say you had chemotherapy, you were still of childbearing age, and you haven't had children, and you're wondering, will I be able to? Perhaps you embarked upon fertility preservation, and we'll put a link to our video about fertility preservation right here, but you're not sure. None of us is ever sure. And that's something you worry about disclosing. That's something you're worried about. Will your future partner want children? Will you be able to have children? What I can say about this is a very common concern regardless of whether one has had cancer or not. And it's especially difficult after cancer because you've had so many losses. Your hair, perhaps a breast. You've had so many things in your life that you've lost. Losing fertility, embarking upon a conversation about will you be able to have children can make you feel particularly vulnerable. So this is a common worry, and one that you'll want to think about. How will you work through this? What kind of support do you need? Another thing people worry about is, will I be able to enjoy physical, sexual, intimate pleasure again? You might be having vaginal dryness or pain at the site of your incisions. You may have self-consciousness. You may not feel beautiful in your body. And all of these things can impair your ability to feel deep comfort when you're being physically or sexually intimate. So people do worry about that. And then the other thing people worry about is this the right time? What if I don't survive? What if my cancer comes back? Should I even be going into the dating world? Should I wait a few years before I start dating? And I'm not going to tell you how to feel. Life is full of uncertainty. You're going to manage this uncertainty, many of you, the same way you've managed other uncertainties in life. What do we tend to plunge in and just do things and see what happens, or do you tend to like to make sure you have as much information as possible? Your medical team can help you with uncertainty. They can answer your questions about your sexual and intimate life. They can answer questions about your prognosis and your fertility. Let them know early on in your therapeutic relationship with them what's important to you. That's how you help your medical team know you better as a person and help give you the information and medical support that you need. If you've had an experience with dating after breast cancer or during breast cancer, and you'd be willing to share that with the Yerbba community, your words will have more impact than mine because you've been there and you have a story to tell. So we'd love to invite you to do that. And if you have a question that you want others in this community to answer, pop it in the comments or question below. We get back to you on every comment or question within 1 to 2 weeks, just as soon as we can. We've had so many people commenting. It takes us a little bit longer, but you matter to us, and your stories and your questions do as well. I hope this has been helpful. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time.